Peace, y'all. I guess we got to do part two because I don't know what happened. I got cut off. I know the conspiracy theorists will kick in and say, "Hey, they cut you off because of the subject you was on." But nah, I think we just had some technical difficulties. But we'll get right back into it, man. Sorry about that. Start the process right back over again. Y'all just hit the like button as y'all come in. We'll just make this part two. Walaikum salam, brother Chris. Good to see you, family. I see you, Luis. Yeah, we're going to keep this going, man. We're talking about personal responsibility and accountability versus business and entertainment. And this was triggered off of the comments that Lil Nas X made basically when asked about taking responsibility or being more cognitive of what he says and does as it relates to the children who listen to him. And his response was, F your kids. And I was just getting ready to go into talking about an artist's personal responsibility and allowing them the time to grow, because a lot of us had to have time to grow. There are a lot of songs and a lot of content that we've all put out in our younger days that was like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that. I hope that didn't lead anybody down the wrong road. So nobody is to be judgmental and condemning as if we got a clean slate and a clean plate. However, we are in a time where information is more rapidly transmitted, understanding is more rapidly made available, and we have had multiple examples of why it's more detrimental in these times to carry ourselves in certain ways, to portray certain images, to speak certain words in our song. We understand why it's more dangerous now. And we also understand, as y'all hit that like button, we also understand that there are forces who back this type of content. Say that one more time. There are forces who back, push, promote, and encourage this type of content. So if we see Lil Nas X acting like he's pregnant, the question is, what is he getting out of doing that? What is his reward to get out of doing that? Why are you doing that? Some people will say, oh man, he's just doing it for shock value. Some people say, oh man, he's doing it for the money, man. You know, when he does that, it creates this controversy. Then it attracts the people to know what's going on. Who is this guy? What is he talking about? And it brings attention because people are under the belief system that all press is good press. As long as they talking about you, it don't matter what they saying, as long as they talking. All the while forgetting about the future, which is our children. The effect that it has on our future, which is our children. So the very people who are buying your music, like we said in part one, the very people who are listening to your music, you said F them. So is that youth talking? Is that just ignorant young person talk? Not making the connection between your personal success and your personal wealth and finances and your lifestyle that you have been afforded to live through those very people that you saying F them? Is that just you not making that connection? Or is that more shock value? And how much accountability are we going to place on artists like that? Because here's the thing, as it relates to the Black community, as it relates to the hip hop generation, here's the deal. We are very selective in terms of the fights that we take on. We are very selective, and a lot of times we are very neglectful and intentionally neglectful of certain fights. Like, I ain't gonna mess with that. So you look at the fact that this brother comfortably can make a statement like that. He can make a statement like that comfortably. Just came right out, fearing no repercussion, right? Because traditionally, we as a people don't go hard enough like other races of people do in terms of making it known that you are not to carry that kind of behavior out. You are not to make those kind of statements about people who are supporting you. Y'all know what y'all probably thinking. Well, hey man, you look, more white people consume music than Black people. I'm sure there are a lot of white people that are about. Yeah, I'm sure there are. But I'm speaking about Black people right now, because enough things have been poured down on us throughout history that have had long-lasting effects on us, on the Black and the brown and the poor people of this nation, in this world. But the things that we do to ourselves, we have to be able to have a system, a policing system, an internal policing system within our community that says, hey man, no. Because the comfort level that we have in being dismissive of that is what perpetuates it, if I'm making any sense. If I'm making any sense. That's the same thing that people like DJ Vlad, people like him do. That's the same thing they do. They have a comfort level in their mind that know they can say anything they want to say about us. They can lie. They can misappropriate the culture. They can disrespect our women. They can disrespect our leaders, our historical leaders and historical figures, with no repercussion. Maybe a few conscious people that come out and smash on them and shoot some backlash on them, but it ain't enough. It ain't enough juice to strike any fear in their hearts to make them not only apologize for their words, but to know, I better not ever make that mistake again. So it translates over to our own people. We do the same thing, and we're not worried about it. I heard the brother say, he said, man, you know, there's people in my own family who have basically expressed displeasure with the way I get down, with the image I project. He said people in his own family have taken issue with it. And he's still like, basically, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do because it's getting me this money, because it's keeping my name out there. And more importantly, This is the part that doesn't get said enough. I'm gonna keep doing what I do because the people who pay me, they're all right with it. They back me. But why do they back you? Do they back you because they like you? Do they back you because they love you? Do they back you because they are fans of the music too? These people who these CEOs of these labels and these corporations that give you endorsements and sponsorship, they don't listen to they don't listen to Lil Nas X music. They don't listen to your music. Now their children might, but they not listening to him. He is a dollar sign to them. He's a dollar sign for however long. He's a cash cow for however long he can get some milk out. And the mistake that a lot of artists like that make, the mistake that they make is that in the moment, success in the moment lulls them into a false sense of security, and they feel as though the level that they on right now, they're gonna always be on that level. And history has already proven that that's just not the case. Every 5 years, you can name a hottest rapper in the game guy who has a good run. You can go all the way back to the beginning. At some point, that artist is either going to fall off, he's either going to be moved off by another artist that comes along and takes that spot, or he's gonna make a misstep. He's going to take a misstep that's going to cause him to be what they call canceled. Particularly canceled by the very powers who put him in that spot in the first place. So they don't love Lil Nas X. They'll shake his hand and come on in, let's have this meeting, because in the moment, you are generating revenue for them. But they don't love you. Don't make the mistake of thinking that they do, and then you are doing all of these crazy things for the shock value. But you're destroying young people's minds at the same time, whether you know it or whether you don't, whether you don't care. But that's blood on your hands, blood on all of our hands who've been down those roads. So success in the moment is an illusion. Success in the moment is an illusion, because what's the word I just used? I used the word moment. It's just a moment. You got to always be looking ahead to the future. I don't care how much you got it popping right now. Everybody in here done hit a lick and had some money. You hit a lick and made 1,500, 1,200, 1,000. Some people gonna ball out with that 1,000 right there. They're gonna run through it right there on the spot. They did not even think down the line and say, well, hey man, the first is rolling around. Let me pay my rent with this. I might be broke afterwards, but let me secure myself for the unknown. The artists don't always think about the unknown and that future, because you get money, you can lose money. Money flowing steadily now. Money is not an issue for that brother right now. I'm certain of it. His phone is ringing off the hook. His agent, manager, whoever, they are taking calls rapidly. But the same way that faucet turns on and is blasting, you can turn that faucet off, man. Be careful how you are when dealing with your people. Be careful. And be careful how you are dealing with your people when you are doing the bidding of these people who don't care nothing about you or your people. It's an agenda to make you do that to destroy your people. You got to know the game you playing. You got to understand who you playing with. And if you understand who you playing with, then you might say, well, you know what? Psh, hey, man, I know what they doing. But I'm playing the game too. I'm playing with them. Some artists do that. Some artists are like, yeah, I know, I got it. I know what I'm doing. You might see me get out there here and there, but in the grand scheme, watch what I do to them. Some will, some won't. But if you are in a mindset that it's just all about me, hey man, I'm getting mine. I'm getting mine. I'm getting mine. I'm getting mine. F your kids. That is just leaving. That's like coming through and just blowing up the whole village and just leaving the destruction in the aftermath. And it's like, psh, I came away with all y'all stuff. Y'all clean it up. Accountability, man. Personal responsibility and accountability on our end to let, hey, brother, no, you can't do that, man. Nah, man, that's dead. That's dead in 2021, man. No, we not. No. You can't do that. Oh, it's just music. Man, y'all making too much of a big deal out of this, man. Y'all making, yeah, these just songs. The parents need to be the ones that's responsible for raising. Y'all shouldn't even worry. If y'all got to look to an artist to raise y'all children, then that's a mistake, y'all. Okay, all that's good and fine. We've been hearing all that for years. Yeah, we understand. And tell me something I don't know about a parent's responsibility. You know, but hey, we are under a condition that does not necessarily guarantee that a parent of a particular child who's being influenced, it's not necessarily guaranteed that that parent got their mind right. See? So what are these labels doing? They don't have any issue whatsoever with everything that they are pushing this brother to do or whatever comes out of his own mind to do. You don't hear a word. The Jewish community ain't saying nothing. The LGBT community definitely not saying nothing. They cheering him on. You don't hear a word. And again, the members of the black community who will speak out and give pushback to that kind of behavior, they're not going to get the platform. They're not going to have enough range to shake it up, because if given an equal platform or placed on an equal platform, that's a game changer now. That's a game changer. They're not going to let Brother RZA get up there and defend that the righteous side of the ledger on that. They ain't gonna let him do it on a world stage, because he'll shut it down. And he's just one example. So they don't care when we destroy ourselves. They don't care. Notice how silent the powers are with all of this stuff. You see this controversy that's coming out behind this brother. It's silent. They don't care. So if we say F your kids, they don't care. worry about that. Has no effect on me. But if he was to ever say something, like a lot of artists who have come out and spoken out against them, spoken out against their blood-sucking history and current, spoken out against that. Anybody that comes out and does that, oh, they instantly on their head. How did y'all get to them so fast? What triggered that to make y'all spring into action that quick on a brother who most likely either told the truth about you or he quoted somebody who did tell the truth? He reposted a meme of some truth that was about those so-called powers. They heard something that Farrakhan said. Ooh, boy, that was strong. I'm going to repost that. And they got in trouble. Or I heard something that this brother, this sister said. Ooh, that was strong. And they said, they spoke about it on a platform that they had. They may not have been able to go as deep into it, but they spoke about it just enough to where everybody knew what they was talking about. And then all of a sudden, they're in trouble. Why y'all springing to action so fast over that? And over truth, and over speaking your mind over something that will raise up the mind of black people. Why you springing to action so fast on that? Because you know. But all of these other antics that not just Lil Nas X, but a lot of other artists carry out, you quiet as a church mouse now. Because that is the ultimate goal anyway. You don't want no black people coming up turning into conscious intellectual giants out here. You don't want that. So you got to dumb us down. Got to understand what's going on out here, man. Hit the like button if y'all haven't already. I'm sorry I got disconnected for whatever reason. But we'll just make this part 1 and part 2. This is part 2 we're doing right now. We're talking about responsibility and accountability as an artist versus business and entertainment. Some people would do anything for the bread. They would do anything for the bread. Anything but oppose those powers because they know that that's going to chop off their bread. And I can guarantee you, like I was just about to say, I think I got sidetracked. If Lil Nas X was to ever say anything that was viewed to be offensive towards the Jewish community on that level, he would be humbly apologizing. He would be in classes, in sensitivity classes. He would be in studying and learning the history under rabbis and being made to understand why what you said was so offensive. And then you would have to go through a process of working your way back into their good graces so that you may be allowed to once again get some of their money. This is where we at with it, man. Success in a moment is an illusion, bro. Don't be ignorant enough. See, he should. Well, I'm not gonna say he should recant that statement when he said "F your kids." I mean, I don't know if he really meant that or not, or if he just felt like he was dealing with the frustration of he tired of people saying that to him, because that question gets posed, or he may read it on the internet a lot, where that question gets put out there like, well, what about the children who listen to you? That's a valid question, brother. That's a valid question. You can't just do what you want to do. We can't just do what we want to do and then just be like, well, hey man, look, man, I'm doing me. And I don't want nobody to say nothing about it. Then if it gets too tight, I'm gonna play the I ain't a role model card. When you are a role model. Here's the thing that people don't say when they don't think about when they make that statement. I'm not a role man. I'm not a role model. I'm not a role model. Yeah, you are a role model. Every celebrity is a role model. Every athlete is a role model. Every actor or actress is a role model. The question is, are you a positive or a negative role model? A role model is that you are portraying a role, or you are living a role that people model themselves after. People just take this thing, the word role model means good. No, you got a positive role model and a negative role model. Which model are you rolling with? See what y'all talking about. First comment I see. Kristen says, oh, he meant to say that. I'm saying it just like you saying, oh, he meant to say that. This clown does not care. He doesn't care about his own life because he sold his soul. And let's discuss the aspect of self-hate. That's why it's very important to be careful in not condemning people. Even when you mad, even when they do something so ridiculous like this, we still got to understand a lot of times that people have a backstory that we may not be familiar with. People have a backstory that we might not be familiar with, and there are reasons why people carry themselves or lash out. We got people like that in our family. We got people like that in our circles. It's like when this person just lashes out and just flips out and we don't understand. It's like nothing happened and all, because nothing happened right between you and them, but something happened a long time ago. But the problem is, it's hard to correct that kind of behavior, period. But it's definitely tough to correct it when you're dealing with a rich, famous, superstar rap artist. Because now ego comes into play. Because now money and yes men and people he employs, they don't want to lose their spot. They don't want to lose their bread. So now you're dealing with all of these different dynamics to where ain't nobody going to tell this person nothing. And he did mention, like he said, he had family members that have tried to hold him accountable for that, but he dismissed them. See? Please make your comments and statements on the topic that we are on. We're not getting off topic today. If your comment is not on topic, I'm not going to reply to it. We read the title and ask questions or make statements based around this topic, nothing else. Sam Bryan says artists like Lil Nas X are brainwashing the children. And the question is, who brainwashed him? Everything goes in steps. And it's not one person's, one person is not 100% responsible. This is a process that led to him, and he is the product, that was the finished product that they put out before the world. But there were many elements in place, many components that were added to him to create, to get him to where he is and who he is, and then he was pushed out in front of us. What means can we as parents use to combat this type of stuff poisoning the minds of our children? Somebody answer that question. What can be done? Somebody gonna say, "Oh, you got to take their phone, or you got to monitor what they see." You're not gonna be able to stop them from hearing it. You could take every device from them, and guess what? They're gonna be on the school bus looking over the shoulder of their homeboy who still got their phone, or their little friend that still got his phone. They're gonna hear it. Tara says everything starts at home. Yeah, that's true. But again, they're gonna hear it. They still gonna hear it. Everything starts at home. You gotta instill. You have to do all this. I'm saying, I agree. How do you balance it, son? I hear you listening to this guy. What do you know about this guy, son? Explain. Tell me what you know about him, son. Well, he's a rapper and he likes to put on dresses. He likes to put on dress. Do you think that that's something that is a cool thing to see this young man wearing a dress? That's something that you would say is a good thing or a cool thing, son? You gotta have them kind of conversations, because you never know what your child might say. Son walk in the room one day, you in the living room chilling, your son come in and say, "Daddy, can you give me one of these?" And you think he finna hold up a picture of a PlayStation or some tennis shoes or something, and it's a picture of a dress. You're like, oh, it's a heartbreaking moment, but you don't know. Life's a song worth singing. There's no stopping this propaganda unless you become Amish. You got to become Amish and just block yourself off from the whole world of the technology of the world and everything, and just go back to 1352. What about making these labels accountable, these record labels? We can't let in our disappointment with the artists, a lot of the times we'll let the real catalyst off the hook. We make that mistake. We'll let the real catalyst off the hook. We won't go to the we won't go to the labels. See? We'll go off on the bad employee, but we won't take it to corporate. You go to a store and an employee got an attitude, you might ask to see the manager, but you won't take it to corporate. The manager might just, okay, I'll take care of it. But you want to go to the root. You want to go to the root, man. You have to turn on topics like this while they are around so they can discern good and bad. And we have to provide a balance, I would say. If all of our children are listening to is just one thing, it's just all negative, they're gonna lean. Nothing to combat that balance. Nothing to create that balance. I'm sorry. these powers are not going to try to stop him at all. Hey, keep on doing it. But when his light goes out, meaning that if a day comes where the people just not into him no more, somebody else comes along and gets hot, people get tired of the act, because that's another thing that they don't factor into, man. You know, people gonna check you out when you coming out being all over the top, controversial and all, but at some point, even those who support you, they will grow tired of the act after a while. Oh, yeah, I used to jam it back, and it's just too much for me now. Because your audience, you're not gonna get all of them. You're not gonna sway all of them youngsters. And they're gonna grow up. They're gonna eventually grow up. And somebody said, you teach your children the right way and try to guide them the right way. See, let's give credit to those young people who can listen to that type of music, or who can see those types of images. Let's give credit to the young people who can see that stuff and not be influenced by it. Because we make the mistake of acting like every young person who sees this is going to automatically become that. That's not true. But we don't want that type of lifestyle and influence to get none of them. Not one of them. But we got to give credit to those who can say, yeah, I listen to him. Yeah, I seen it. I laugh at it. It's just entertainment to me. And they're going to grow up. And when your audience outgrows you, you done. You left behind. What do you do to a pair of shoes that you outgrow? Are you wearing the same shoes that you wore when you was in the 6th grade? Your feet got too big. You couldn't tell me where those shoes are now. You can tell me where that shirt is that you was wearing in the kindergarten. You don't know where that shirt is at now. You outgrew it, and when you outgrew it, you discarded it. That's what will happen if an artist does not grow. Because your fan base represents that article of clothing. They cover you. They wrap around you. They protect you. But on the reverse, if they outgrow you, they can't do nothing with you no more. I don't listen to that no more. I don't watch Sesame Street no more. 51 years old. I don't watch Sesame Street no more. Because I've outgrown that degree of scholarship. There was a time where that level of scholarship was right up my alley. I had to see what Big Bird and all them cats was talking about. I had to see the Count teach me how to count. I've outgrown that level of scholarship. So if you are an artist, Lil Nas X or whoever, and you own some BS, man, you better start thinking about your future. And you better get out of the mindset of self. Man, it ain't my job to raise your children. F your kids. Man, that's powerful, man. I could never support a record label that pushes that. And I can't support an artist who says that. They can't get another dollar out of me. I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry, daughter. I won't be buying you that Lil Nas X album. I'm definitely not buying the poster because there's no telling what will be on the poster. What y'all talking about, man? Show him other kids who are against it. It may spark something in the child. Yeah, I mean, children are, and I ain't going to just say children. I'm using children as a current example, but it's people in general. We are creatures who we run in circles and in cliques, and we follow popularity, popular trends, popular people, whatever everybody else say is popping. So yeah, if there's a group of his friends that are the Nas, like I said earlier, all the little homies in the 5th grade, they say they getting dresses. They wearing their dresses to school Monday. I would hate to see a child fall under the peer pressure of that from another group of children. Say, man, y'all, you ain't gonna get a dress. I would like to see a young man say, man, I ain't wearing no dress. And if I was crazy enough to want a dress, my daddy would kill me. My mama would kill me if I walk in talking about, can I get a dress? Everybody at school wearing a Monday. All the dudes at school wearing a Monday. But it's a joke, but it's the most realistic scenario of a possibility. Sam Bryant just dropped another bomb. He said that's when mental health kicks in. Mental health got a lot to do with this. There are psychological issues that money and fame covers up. The same things that a poor, struggling young black child goes through in the hood, or a condition that they may be dealing with mentally, or past trauma that they may have experienced in a poverty-stricken area in the hood. It's rich and famous people that go through the same stuff, that have been through the same stuff. They just hit that lick and blew up. So their past and their histories and those pains and those traumas are masked. M-A-S-K-E-D. They're masked by the money and the fame and the accolades and the entourages and the butt kissing and all. It's masked. But it still manifests itself at some point, because you see a lot of them, they on drugs real bad, or they get on drugs real bad if they wasn't. They drinking, they alcoholics, they're depressed, they're miserable. See? Jovan, my brother, we are on a topic today, my brother. Read the title of this topic, and that's what we're talking about today. We're not going off topic. If I do an open topic, then I will gladly answer that question. But today we're on a topic. So anything relating to this topic, I will gladly acknowledge, my brother. But we're not getting off the topic. What you're asking me is not on the topic. Matto Music says the media is the virus. I agree with that. The media perpetuates the images. They put them everywhere. And it creates points of conversation, because everybody's talking about it. Whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, whether you don't have an opinion of it at all, you've seen it. You've heard all the conflicting views. You've heard all of the views that are in agreement. We've heard all these different views, but the key is we're talking about it. Everybody's discussing it. Everybody's talking about it. See? And when that happens, they've accomplished their goal. And he's making the mistake of feeling like, oh, oh, this is just my fame just popping off. I'm in everybody's mouth. I got all these haters. That's the mistake that we got all these haters. Everybody got my name in their mouth. Yeah, you right. Including right now. But don't make the mistake of not understanding that's not always a good thing, bruh. It's not. And a time could come where your name is not in anybody's mouth no more, man. We've seen many great artists fall from grace. We've seen legends and icons, especially black legends and icons. Bill Cosby just got out of jail. R. Kelly in there right now. These are not things that we saw or foresaw happening 20 years ago. You could have told me 25 years ago, yeah, Bill Cosby's going to end up going to prison for. You could have told me that some of our greats would be caught up in these situations, whether they were right or whether they was wrong. Because a lot of times when they're in the right, just because of what you're saying, like I said earlier, if you speaking out against those powers, they gonna come for you. So you got to consider the day that you might not be in everybody's mouth. You might not be in everybody's mouth. You got to consider that day. Because it can happen through a circumstance or it can happen organically. Just a cycle of musical and entertainment life will consume you, just like the cycle of life consumes everybody. The cycle of music and entertainment life will consume you organically, at the very least. But it'll definitely snatch you up if you get to stepping out of line. So accountability, business, responsibility, entertainment, all of these are the elements that are at play. These are the elements that are bumping heads with each other. He doesn't take any accountability for what he's saying and doing right now. That's a mistake. That is a mistake that I would hope that he clicks and corrects. Otherwise, it's going to cost him. Plain and simple. Because you can't tell nobody F your kids. You're turning your back on the very people and disrespecting the very people who have created your lifestyle for you, who have paid for your lifestyle. You can't say that. Because if the day ever comes where black people cut him off or people in the industry cut, guess who gonna cut him off after that? That same record label. Well, man, I've been with y'all for my first album sold such and such a million, man. My second album sold. Hey, man, that was 3 years ago, man. I mean, you haven't been putting it in like you used to, man. But what about just the history, the things I've done? Hey, man, I got a business to run. They can make 100 Lil Nas X's. They can run them off the assembly line. There's somebody right now waiting to come up in the wings and be more flamboyant than him. Somebody waiting right now, looking at the things he's doing to say, I'll do worse than that if they put me on. So Lil Nas, he was very dismissive of the agenda to feminize black males. He held up his award and said, shout out to the gay agenda. Arrogance is a dangerous, dangerous thing, man, because you are carrying yourself now as if you can never fall and as if you'll never need somebody. Track Sparrow asked the question. The question is, though, does he want kids to listen to him? Who else is he trying to target? Who's buying? Who's the predominant audience that's purchasing his music? I'm just asking the question, Track Sparrow. Because if we say, well, he doesn't want kids to listen to him, then who is he targeting? Because I said earlier, and I asked the question earlier, what was the age demographic of the people who listen to his music? And people put their opinions. People were saying 16 to 25, 18 to 25, 13 and up. Everybody's pretty much in agreement, whether we have the actual facts or not. We may not, but just a guessing game, which it ain't good to play the guessing game. But sometimes you can take an educated guess and know that ain't no 50-year-olds around here consistently playing Lil Nas X. He's performed in front of children many times. He makes music that attracts that younger audience. So my answer to the question, my unprofessional answer to the question would be, absolutely he wants children to listen to him. Because you don't reach that level of success, bro. You don't reach that level of fame and popularity without knowing who your audience is. Now, does he have the LGBT? Yeah, of course he got them. Of course he's got them. Absolutely. We can't act like that. We know he got them. You can pick them up and just set them to the side. But either right behind them, or I would venture to say, number one is the youth. Then number two would be the LGBTQ. That would be my opinion. Correct me if you find out the numbers. But he makes these songs, and then he's not taking the responsibility. He's saying, hey, I didn't tell you. Hey, y'all didn't. If y'all do that, that's on y'all as parents. Hey, man. Nah, man. You can't allow that. No member of the Jewish community would allow another member of the Jewish community to be saying and displaying behavior that they would deem to be detrimental or a negative influence on the Jewish community as a whole. They would not allow that to do that. No member of the Asian community would allow that to happen. Members of the white community would not allow that to happen. You can go all the way down the list. He would immediately be checked and reprimanded and corrected, and I guarantee you he would not do that anymore. The problem is that his persona, I don't know if the dude gay or not. Some people say, well, you know, there's certain things that you do that you can't do unless you are that way. Certain things you can't fake. Well, I'm just doing this for the image to try to pull that off. Nah, certain things you can't fake. But the point I'm making is that you're catering to what you believe is your meal ticket. And Massa sitting on the mountaintop going, boy. When we create them, we know how to create them, don't we? We know how to make them, don't we? Boy, 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 boy. Boy, y'all did yourself on this one, Bob. See? Last Blade. You see a lot of racists do listen to rap music to keep the hate going. Explain that. Want to make the noise without listening to the message. Okay. Vlad is always in his feelings, all because somebody had turned down an interview with him. Yeah, but see, Vlad is an entitled. I don't know what he is, because I don't know if he's a Jew or atheist, but he's entitled. In his mind, he feels as though, how dare you not take an interview from me? Because again, those entitled individuals like him and his daddies and granddaddies, they look at the highest of the high of black people, of black excellence, and they still feel like they're better than them, even though they way down here. So if Mr. Farrakhan doesn't want to do an interview with Vlad, he looks at Mr. Farrakhan like, how dare Mr. Farrakhan not want to, you don't want to talk to me? Because he has that false sense of superiority. He doesn't realize that he's an amoeba in comparison to Farrakhan. Freaking an amoeba. He's a paramecium. Yeah, he says he's Ashkenazi. But I heard he said he was an atheist. So he's selective. He conveniently chooses, I'm gonna be a Jew when it benefits me. The rest of the time, I don't believe in none of that stuff. See? Great point by Last Blade. Racists don't have a problem with a gay black man wearing a dress, but hate on a strong black man. They don't have a problem with a straight black man wearing a dress. A one who says that he's straight but puts on a dress because he says he's secure in it. They don't have a problem feminizing black men, but just like you said, and I said this the other day, real black masculinity is labeled toxic. It's labeled toxic. Why is it toxic? Toxic to who? Toxic to you, the races that it's exposing, and you strategically made even some of our own sisters buy into the toxic male masculinity myth. To try to destroy our strength and dominance as a man. So moving forward, man, don't let business and entertainment overpower responsibility and accountability. You can't do that. I don't care how much they offer you. I don't care how much, what position that they are positioning you to put you in. Responsibility and accountability is first and foremost. And whatever it is that you're doing, a dollar sign should not make you compromise your position. I got to get this money, man, so I'm going to go head on and I'm going to do this commercial. I'm going to go and put this dress on. And Q Marshall, my brother, Q Marshall, he said, it's funny, Vlad is trash, but what can we say about the ones who signed up to be on that show knowing he's suspect? It's the same principle as with the artist and the label. They are only in it for the exposure from the platform. It's the same principle. So yeah, I asked myself that same question. I'm like, well, this guy doesn't pay them or anything. He doesn't pay them or nothing. And they still come on and tell on themselves and do all this different stuff. I gotta go, y'all. Peace.